Good day and welcome to this important discussion around the value of our indigenous languages as part of both honoring and preserving our cultural heritage. My name is Koketso Sachani, your facilitator for this webinar. I want to thank the Indigenous Language Action Forum for inviting me once again to be part of yet another important discussion around the preservation and promotion of our indigenous languages. The topic for this discussion centers on the use and respect of our indigenous languages and passing our heritage on to the next generation. I must say upfront that today's topic is important to me on a very personal level. I'm a son to my parents and a father of 3. And the question of one's mother tongue and how it goes from your parents to you and in turn to your children is a continuous discussion, particularly in a diverse South Africa where we are confronted with the positive element of interaction in a multicultural and multilingual society. Allow me to introduce our panelists joining us for this discussion. Firstly, Mapelo Tlowane is a lecturer at the University of Limpopo who is passionate about indigenous languages and multiculturalism, as well as Thando Mahlangu, who is a IsiNdebele cultural activist who is at the forefront of activists fighting for the preservation and revival of the language that is IsiNdebele. Welcome to you both. Firstly, Mapelo, welcome to this important discussion. Thank you for honoring us.
Thank you very much for this opportunity. I am so grateful to be granted a chance to also have an input in such an important discussion like this. I was very touched as well when I was informed about this platform, and it's a great opportunity because these are platforms that we need to ensure that there is something that is done about the upliftment and the growth of our African languages.
Bakwethu lotshani ibizo lami nginguthando Mahlangu umjameli wetuthuko yamaNdebele kumabonakude. I'm glad to be invited in this particular platform because now in South Africa, they only recognize 11 official languages, yet we don't only have 11 official languages. So very glad to be part of the contributor when it comes to today's discussion, because to me, it's more personal, because if you can look at the Constitution of South Africa and the way Parliament is designed and the economy, the way it's designed for a Black person not to accumulate all those things. For example, our languages are not paying us enough or are not paying us more than English, whereas in South Africa, that's what is supposed to be happening, you know? So I'm very glad. I have 5 inspirational books that I wrote. I have 1 inspirational CD. Currently, I have the biggest song. I have the biggest song in South Africa titled IsiNdebele. I'm featuring jazz artist Zoto Mapena or Trikozwana, the 2017 Indoni, and I'm featuring Mhlokonya Kabungela and Tulibate and Makaset and Blessing Christine. So that song, we're trying to get IsiNdebele to wake up because their language is dying. So I'm glad to be part of the discussion.
Thank you very much, Baba. What I'm going to do as a start is to allow both of you to reflect on the topic for this session, of course, and a reminder really it is about the use and respect of our indigenous languages, passing it on to the next generation. For a few minutes, Mapelo, if I can start with you, your reflections on this topic.
For me, this topic rose a lot of emotions. I would say it rose a lot of questions in me as a young person who's living in this democratic country right now. The question I had in mind is, where are we at this point? Because for me, when I'm looking at the upliftment and the growth of languages in South Africa, all I am seeing is policy and table talks. All I'm seeing is lip services that we are offering in our conferences, in our round tables. And the question I had to myself is, what are we actually doing? What is the action that we are actually taking? And what is it that we can actually do to ensure that all these policies that we have, all these lip services that we are giving, the higher learning institutions, what is the practical interventions that we can actually take? As somebody who is young in the higher learning institution, I, for one, would like to see change. I am seeing change in policies, but I'm not seeing change in implementation of those policies. So my reflection on this is action, action, action. What can we do that will ensure that indeed these languages are being passed on to the generations that are coming, especially with all these platforms that we have, like our social medias, the influences that we have now, the power that English has right now. What are we as South Africans who are speaking this African indigenous languages, what are we doing in reality to ensure that we are passing this heritage, this knowledge to our kids? As a mother of 2 young children who are going into these Model C schools, what am I doing personally to ensure that my language still prevails in their lives and they still see the importance and they learn my heritage as they grow to be the young generation of tomorrow? So that is what, for me, I would like to put on the table today is, what is the way forward? What actions are we actually doing? Are we just leaving it to policies like I am saying today? Or is there something that we can actually do on an individual level to start with, to ensure that indeed these languages are being promoted and this heritage is not lost, and the upcoming generation is actually learning and carrying it through the way it should? Thank you.
Very, very, very important points that you're raising there, and questions that you're putting, which we will definitely touch on and reflect on. But Mahlangu, your reflections on the topic.
This is a great topic. Actually, we should be having such topic on a platform where people can really access them. Like, let's look at the SABC and the editorial policy document that they have in place. If you can look at the television, how many languages do we have on SABC television? You know, which it's a problem currently, because now television, it's got more influence than any other thing. And if you can look at the way the parliament is designed, the parliament, it doesn't have best interest of our languages and culture in place, you know, which it's a serious problem, because if you can look at the way government is designed, the people who are in government currently, they don't care about languages and amasiko and culture, you know, which is a problem. Because now, if you can go to any department, government department, there's Afrikaans and there's English translation. They are saying exactly the same. How about our own languages? Why don't we put up something like that? If you can look at the translations that they have for the documents, there's English and Afrikaans, they're dominating. And let's look at the higher education again. There's English and Afrikaans is dominating, and yet it's more Black people there. If you can look to the Model C schools, they are saying Sikolo Samakua, but 98% or 99% of people who are studying there, Babandu Banzima, and yet they are learning in English, you know? So now, if we can look at those things, and not our Black people look at the fact that our mentality, it's mentality here to Ingayo. You can be able to go and pay a preschool or primary school or a high school 20,000 a year or 20,000 rand a month for your child to learn English and to do away with their mother tongue. Why should we do that? You see, now the education system on its own, it was designed for a Black person to fail, mainly because, for example, you go to school for 12 years and doing what? What skills do you come up with? What practicalities you come up with from that? You know, and then you go to university for 3 years or for 4 years or for 5 years, then you get a job. If we can make our languages benefit us more than English, if you can make our talent, it goes with language, and it goes with the culture, you know. So now, if we can the economy design around our own languages, imagine what we can achieve.